It is Wednesday, June 22nd in the MLB, and I'm Austin from Calling Our Shot.
And I'm Logan from Calling Our Shot.
And we are back with our 4 best picks of the day. We're going to get into a recap in a second, but we got 2 game picks. We got 1 player prop and 1 nowhere in first inning coming your guys' way.
As always, guys, if you just do us a real quick favor and hit that subscribe button, it really helps us grow this channel. You guys have been amazing so far this baseball season, showing a lot of love and support towards Austin and I. Keep it up, guys.
And let's hop into a recap from yesterday, almost bringing out the brooms. It was a 3-in-1 day overall. Now, we did have, obviously, Spencer Strider, my K's ladder. I remembered why I retired from K props. Spencer Strider just didn't bring his A game yesterday. Only got 4 strikeouts, gave up like 6 earned runs. Not much you can do about there. Marlins clutch up despite going down early. Perez easily gets his over 17.5 outs. And then the A's, Mariners, nowhere in first inning, cashed with ease, an easy winner. But, that wasn't good enough for us because the parlay of the day cashes as well. Marlins and Rangers both getting it done. We were due hitting one of these parlays. I did have a tweet. I did add a play, Bryson Stott under and bases. He did not end up playing. So we'll have another added play probably today, as you'll see with my player prop. But either way, it's been a very good season. Hopefully we can kind of get into a roll. I know we've been kind of kickstarting, trying to hit the gears. But if you haven't signed up for Underdog Fantasy, we certainly would appreciate it. Our newest sponsor. Obviously, if you sign up using code COS or the link in the description, we're going to give you a 100% deposit match up to $100. I'll have an Underdog Fantasy parlay for the MLB later on today. On our Twitter, I'll also put it in the pinned comment section down below. Last but not least, our parlay of the day live on OddsJam. Top link in the description. Go check that out. But Logan, you got 2 picks today. What's your first one?
I do, yeah. And we're starting with an underdog, right? A's versus Mariners. Taking the A's money line. Currently plus 115 odds on Caesars as Austin's pulling up right here. This one just really stuck out to me, guys. This is pretty standard value across books, plus 110, plus 115-ish across books. And underdogs are profitable in the MLB long term. When I see an underdog line that sticks out to me, I have to take it and I want to take it, right? Because you go 1-1, but you hit an underdog, you're profitable. This line stuck out to me because the last time Blackburn was on the mound, Oakland was plus 155-ish underdogs. For me, last night before I went to bed, I saw this line at like plus 108. I saw the Mariners at the trappy minus 125 money line. There's no bigger trap money line than the minus 120-ish. Trust me, I've fallen into it way too many times. And Oakland is really good with Blackburn on the mound, right? Oakland's 9-4, full game when Blackburn pitches. So they're a really solid team when he pitches. And I think this line indicates that Oakland should play well and have a chance to cash this underdog for us. Now, Blackburn, 1-0 and 4 earned runs in his last 3 starts. Opponents are only hitting, excuse me, only hitting 227 off him, right? Seattle's offense is not that good, right? 23rd in batting average on the road. I don't see them duplicating their 8-run performance yesterday. Yesterday, they just went crazy bananas, and that over-under was set to 8.5 for a reason because, they kind of anticipated some Mariners runs, I guess. Well, today the over-under's back down to 7.5, that comfortable range where it should be in an A's-Mariners game. Who's pitching for Seattle today? We've got George Kirby, 3.43 road ERA and a 1.1 whip on the road. George Kirby hasn't had enough starts for me to say he's anything more than an average pitcher. He's a pretty average pitcher. Those numbers indicate that right there. But when you're betting baseball and you get comfortable with those average pitchers, then they lay a fat egg on your head, right? When you least expect it. That's what I could see George Kirby doing today. He's on the road, and look, he might walk a few batters. Oakland might finally kickstart that offense. The A's offense has been terrible at home this year. I can't give you any stats to indicate otherwise. They're dead last in everything, average, OPS, everything. But that line still indicates they'll have a chance today. Now, is it going to be a shootout by any stretch? The A's won't win if it's a shootout. But I think Blackburn will hold the Mariners down. And the final score prediction, 4-3. A's win 4-3. There's my score prediction right there. I'm riding the A's money line with my first pick. What do you got, Austin?
I really like that pick. Now, the Mariners have already lost to Paul Blackburn once, and the Mariners lost with George Kirby on the mound as well. So the A's have shown them the ability to beat them before. Now, today I'm going to a different game. I'm going Reds-Dodgers. I'm taking Aramis Garcia of the Reds, taking this under 0.5 bases. Now, we're obviously over here on OddsJam, our trusty sponsor. We got minus 110 DraftKings here. FanDuel Denver offers under for base props, so you can't really ever take an under there. But why do we like Garcia today? We'll not like him today. Now, yes, Garcia can't get a hit today. If he gets a hit, then we're screwed. It's kind of like taking an under 0.5 threes for a guy in the NBA. Now, sharper books, like I already put up, Do like this one at -134. And I do have to say, if Garcia doesn't play today like Bryson Stott's added play yesterday, this play is going to void on DraftKings. So if that happens, and so be it. I'll add another play. I'll add another play regardless in the pinned comment section down below and on our Twitter at Calling Our Shot. But look, let's talk about Garcia. Why am I fading him today? Well, he's batting 155 on the year, and he usually bats in the 9 spot. So, depending on how the other Reds hitters, this guy could not see a lot of at-bats. And even if the Reds hitters are getting to Tyler Anderson today, the Reds often pinch hit Garcia. He rarely hits 3 times in a game. Sometimes they let him hit once. Sometimes let him hit twice. And they're like, all right, we're going to pinch hit for you in the later innings. And that could very well happen today. Now, Tyler Anderson is a lefty. He'll be on the mound for the Dodgers. And Garcia, honestly, if he's going to get a hit, it's probably going to be against a lefty. But Tyler Anderson's still decent, 0.94 whip. Maybe he gives up some runs today, but I don't really see Garcia being the guy that's getting those runs go across the plate or getting on base and scoring runs. Garcia played yesterday, had 3 at-bats, quick 0 for 3. Since April 26th, he's been a fade god. He's batting 118 in 28 games. He's gone hitless in 20 of those 28 games. Like I said, would it surprise me if the Reds do not play Garcia today? No, not at all. They got some guys on the injured list. I expect Garcia to be out there, but if he doesn't, this play will void, and you obviously see a pin comment play with another added play or two. But I'm taking Aramis Garcia, taking his under 0.5 bases. Sorry, man. Hope you're not watching the video, but we're fading you today. But Logan, you got a second pick, and I think you're sticking in the same game.
We are sticking in the same game. And if anybody knows me, they probably know what I'm picking in this game. Yeah, I'm picking the Reds +1.5 versus the Dodgers. Currently -104 odds on FanDuel. As Austin's pulling up here, the classic -110 odds run line trap. You see it across all the books. FanDuel just happens to not have it at -110, but I'll take the -104. Look, 96% of the money on the Dodgers. 86% of the bets also on the Dodgers. You know me, guys. I don't pick the Dodgers. It's not how you be profitable in the MLB. I would know because I picked them a lot last year and lost the shirt off my back. Everyone loves chasing the Dodgers after a no-sweat win and cover, right? Look, I pulled some classic instances where I remember everybody, picking the Dodgers hard the next day. They beat Cleveland 7-1. What'd they do? They followed that up with a 5-3 outright L. They beat the Pirates 11-1 at Pittsburgh. I remember that one a lot because everyone followed it up with a 5-3 L the next day. So the Dodgers are this classic team where everyone in their head wants to think that this juggernaut that just steamroll, bad baseball teams. They're not that. I will certainly take my chances on a split odds run line that I just think the books are classically baiting you into. Like, to see the Dodgers as -110 odds on a run line is very rare. You normally see them juiced if the books said, yeah, they'll steamroll the Reds today. Who do they have pitching? As Austin mentioned, they've got Tyler Anderson, 1-4 and 0 earned runs in each of his last 3 starts, coming in with a 2.82 ERA. It's hard to find really faults in his game, but he against left-handed teams, he can sometimes be prone to a meltdown. He did give up 4 earned runs versus the White Sox, who they hit lefties amazing. But Cincinnati, 11th in batting average in balls in play versus lefties, and 13th in batting average versus lefties. So they're better than average in terms of hitting left-handed pitchers. So I think they should be able to get some hits and runs up on Tyler Anderson. And, on the road, he's a lot different pitcher than he is at home. Right in his last road start, Anderson, 2.33 whip. I remember him walking base runners like it was going out of style. I hope the Reds practice some plate discipline today for us because they could easily get some good run opportunities. I pulled some of their hitting splits versus Anderson. Drury 5 for 14 versus Anderson. I like that. That's a pretty solid career-wise. Mike Moustakas 2 for 4 versus Anderson. A lot of the hitters on the Reds just simply haven't seen him. That's okay. They're going to be able to get to him and his funky little wind-up gimmick. If you ever watch Tyler Anderson pitch, he's got a weird leg kick. But for the Reds today, we got Luis Castillo, 4.5 home ERA and a 1.31 whip. Now the whip is a little bit high for Castillo. It shouldn't be a problem today, though. I think he'll still be able to get to some of these Dodgers hitters, right? The Dodgers scored 4 of their 8 runs, in the 8th yesterday. It was a classic Reds bullpen meltdown, right? They're last in bullpen ERA for a reason. But you know what? The Reds saved us some good bullpen arms for today. They emptied it out yesterday. They got the bad bullpen meltdown out of the way yesterday. I'm confident in the Reds to keep this game close at home, and they're going to be playing with pride. Everyone gives it the Dodgers their best shot, especially after an embarrassing loss. So that's why I'm riding with them. But Austin, you know exactly what time it is.
Oh yeah,
get your flags out.
It's NRFI Nation time, and we've been on a great run. I think 14-5 so far on NRFIs this month. Look, We can't do any better than that. We bounced back with a great June so far. We're going to keep it going we're riding with another one. We just took it yesterday. We're taking A's versus Mariners. No run first inning, -128 on FanDuel. This one's a weird one. Another one of those ones where a lot of different books are all over the place. -128 on FanDuel, -130 on Caesars. Then, of course, DraftKings. I swear they juice their NRFIs up more than anyone else, but -160 on DraftKings. Now, why do we like this one? Obviously, we liked it yesterday. Cash with these. And if we are going to get burned, it better be the A's scoring some runs because they're taking their money line too. But like Logan said, Paul Blackburn on the mound for the A's. He's 9-4 on no run first innings this year. He did NRFI already versus Seattle, so we've shown him his capability to do it before. Like we talked about yesterday, Mariners 25th in first inning runs on the road. They scored 8 runs yesterday. None of them came in the first inning. So in fact, they did that. Their bats were even hot yesterday. I don't see their bats coming out as hot today. So we like Paul Blackburn to get those first 3 outs. What about the next guy, Logan?
Yeah, you mentioned. Look, if it's going to be anyone to screw up the NRFI, it better be George Kirby. George Kirby, 5-3 on no run first innings this year. He did already have a NRFI versus Oakland. The A's did score in the first inning run portion versus Kirby. But you know what? That's kind of hard to duplicate. You can't just go off past performances like that, because what I do know, and unfortunately the conflicting stat to my A's money line, Oakland 19th in first inning runs. So, I mean, they're back at the pack, and they're dead last in OPS at home. As I mentioned yesterday, when we picked this no run first inning, 29, they're a solid 30th place in OPS. So their offense usually, if they're going to get started, it's not going to be in the first inning. They're going to be later in the game. So I do think we stand a really good chance. The over under, as I did mention in my first pick analysis, 7.5. Right? They brought it back down after they saw the Mariners score a lot last night. It's going to be probably a later scoring game. That's why we're gonna go with this one and fly the flags again.
Heck yeah, those are our 4 picks of the day. I forgot to mention at the top of the video that our podcast is live at 10 a.m. We took 2 weeks off. This week's podcast is awesome. We talk all about the NBA draft, which is tomorrow. I gave out one of my free picks in the NBA draft. Probably won't have any other picks, but we gave out one in there. We spun a wheel of NBA teams. You really want to check it out. So one of our better podcasts. It will be live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, if you want to sign up for Underdog Fantasy, use code COS or the link in the description for a 100% deposit match. Check out that pinned comment for any other added plays throughout the day. We appreciate you guys as always, and we'll see you guys in the next one.